Welcome, Kendra Patton, the physician assistant holistic health coach. Girl, I absolutely love what you do. Oh my
Thank you.
gosh. Okay. So I'm just like so excited. I'm so excited. I love you. I love your vibe. I love your energy. Tell us about you. Give us like what you do, what's going on. Who is Kendra?
I love you too. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'm so happy that we are on this journey together of
Hmm.
entrepreneurship and all the
Yes.
things. Thank you again so much for having me. I'm Kendra Patton. That is my name. I am originally from Detroit, Michigan. I was born and raised there, and now I live in the Bay Area. I am a physician assistant, which for people who may not know what that is, it is
Hmm.
very similar to a physician or a nurse practitioner. I've been practicing for, oh, it's
Okay.
about to be a new year. So 12 years now. Wow. And
Congrats.
thank you. Thank you. So I'm kind of an OG at this. And the model is very much Western medicine, very much like physician, very similar to a physician. I trained alongside physicians. Um, and I am a holistic health coach, meaning that about 5 or 6 years ago, I wanted to be more natural. I wanted to have more natural, holistic approaches. So I started my own personal healing journey and learning how to heal myself with herbs, other natural techniques. And then I got certified as an integrative health coach to teach people how to do the things that I learned for myself so that I can help people to get out of the hospital and get
Hmm.
out of the clinic because by the time they saw me,
Hmm.
it was like either they were already on a bunch of medications or they were already really sick. So now I really focus on helping people to become their own best doctors. That's really my philosophy is I
Hmm.
want people to be empowered to be their own best doctors. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
I love that. Okay, your girl's gonna be asking like, I feel like dumb questions, but can you define and hone in on Western medicine? Like,
Sure,
what
yeah.
does that mean?
To be completely
Hmm.
real, I spent a lot of time in grad school, so it's very similar to medical school. So we were taking classes with the medical students.
Yeah.
Um, we learned, if I had to estimate, about 30% of the training was learning pharmaceuticals, like
Oh,
learning
wow.
drugs. It was a big part of it, meaning that we learned which drugs, the new drugs, the side effects, all the medication interactions. And so I feel like Western medicine very much so in this day and age pushes the pharmaceutical agenda or like that protocol to
Okay,
get
okay.
people on medications. Not everybody, but a lot of medications are prescribed to keep people, I guess, for treatment.
Hmm.
It's not a cure. It's not anything that's going to really, sometimes people don't really even have a plan to get off the medications. That's not everything. Of course, we need Western medicine for emergencies.
Yes.
I
Hmm.
did a lot of my training and I did additional training when I was in school
Hmm.
in emergency medicine because I was so obsessed with it, like just fixing people right away and sending them on their way.
Hmm.
And then I practiced in emergency medicine and urgent care for a lot of my career. So I love that emergency, urgent situation. Like you need something right then and there. Western medicine is really good for that to save your life. Now I practice a lot in primary care, which for many people know that when you go see your doctor for your
Hmm.
annual appointment or your gynecology appointment, like your pap smears and stuff, you would see me for that. And that's when I realized that a lot of people don't have the tools to manage things on an ongoing basis. Like they're coming to the doctor's office and they feel out of the loop. They feel like their care is not
Hmm.
really in their own hands. They give a lot of power to the provider. And so I think that's the difference in Western medicine, where the language is medical jargon. It's really hard to understand.
Hmm.
And quite frankly, a lot of patients do not trust Western medicine, especially in the BIPOC community and the LGBTQ plus AI community. It's like they don't, and I would say patients don't really they have a lot of reason to not trust Western medicine.
Yeah.
And as a practitioner, like removing myself from that, I really I really do think that it's an honor and a privilege for people to trust me with their care,
Yes.
especially in the Western medicine atmosphere in the clinic. They don't know me. They come in and they're just
No,
now
yeah.
meeting me, and I'm telling them things that will affect their health and their life. And people tell me their deepest, darkest secrets, you know? And so I think that it's an honor and a privilege that a lot of times people in Western medicine, it's such a big institution that
Hmm.
sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind that patients do not owe us their trust. So the difference, you know, when you talk about like Western medicine versus natural medicine and holistic medicine, for me, I try to put the power into the client's hands. Like this is
Hmm.
your body. You should learn about your body and you should learn about the things you're putting into your body because you are with yourself 100% of the time. You only
Hmm.
come and see me in the clinic like once every
Yeah.
few months, if that.
Hmm. Wow. Thank you for that definition. God, I hope I am not triggering anyone or anything, but is Western, I mean, like Western medicine's more like, yeah, like I can understand where it can be life-saving, but a temporary fix to shorten it.
No, I mean, it just honestly, medicine, practicing
Hmm.
medicine in that way
Hmm.
is an art. I tell people this all the time. Yes, we learned a lot of science. It was
Yeah.
very science
Hmm.
heavy. I have a degree. My undergrad degree is in biomedical physics. I love
Okay.
math. I
Yes,
love
girl.
science. I took a lot of science classes. And the pre-med course that you have to take, or the pre-med track rather,
Yeah.
is very science heavy.
Hmm.
However, when you get out to practice, by the time you're done with your
Hmm.
training, it's a art. It really is. So it depends on how people practice and what sort of things your practitioner believes in. So I'm
Mm.
not trying to bash Western medicine at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
I still practice. I'm still
Hmm.
certified as a physician assistant. However, I think that it's really important for providers to really take to really teach patients what they know and what they care about. And then
Hmm.
also on the other side, if patients are not happy with their doctors, with their physician assistants or
Hmm.
PAs, nurse practitioners, or anyone
Yeah.
else, they should look for somebody that they're happy with because you
Hmm.
have this relationship that you're going to build over time. And that's what I think is really important is that you can find somebody. It may take some time and may be some Lord knows there's limitations from
No,
insurance
yeah.
companies. That's, I would say, one of the biggest barriers is like if you
Hmm.
can actually even choose who your provider is. But if you
Hmm.
can, I recommend if you're not happy, don't think you're going to offend your doctor or your provider by
Yeah.
switching and getting somebody who resonates more with you.
I've done switch so many times, Kendra. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like confrontation when it comes to doctors. I'm like,
hmm Right.
oh
It's time to
my
duck
God.
out and they probably won't even notice, you know. I mean, if
No,
they have
for
a big
real.
practice, I don't think people take it personally at all.
Okay. What got you into actually doing the holistic health coach part? Like what drove you to doing that?
I love this question because I was so invested in medicine for so long. Like I actually was a teacher. I love to teach. I've been teaching everything I've learned since I was a little kid. I used to be a tutor, a math tutor in college, and then I was a swim instructor in college. And then I was
My girl is a Gemini. She did it all. Oh my goodness,
I
Kendra.
love to teach. And so I thought I was going to be a teacher, but I actually wanted to make a lot of money growing up. So
Hmm.
I became a professor at Stanford University in the medical school. So I was teaching medical students. But I think that growing, okay, when I became a physician assistant and started really getting into it, about 5 years into the practice, I was starting to experience a lot of the symptoms that my patients would come to me for. So I was starting to feel off. I was starting to feel not sick, but I wasn't feeling
Hmm.
like myself. Part of it was because I was working long hours. I did not have a good work-life balance at the time.
Yeah.
And then I was teaching. So if you've ever taught, or shout out to all the teachers of all levels because
Hmm.
it never ends. It really doesn't ever end. It's not like you clock in and clock out. You still are working on your lesson plans and stuff beyond those times. So I started to feel sick and I, or, not like myself. And I went to my doctors at the time and then I was on the other side of it, right? I became a
Yeah.
patient and I was on the other side.
Hmm.
And so they told me all these things. At one point, I thought I had bipolar disorder because I was feeling so crazy in my mind, like
Yeah.
not crazy in the way of I wasn't in
Hmm.
control, but I would thought I had like manic episodes because I was up for so long. I wasn't
Wow.
sleeping. I was really anxious, extremely anxious. I had a panic attack at work. I was like in between patients. I had to go into a room, close the door, and like I had a whole panic
Oh
attack.
my
It was crazy. It was the
God.
first time it had ever happened to me. And then I saw this commercial. You know how the pharmaceutical, they always got a commercial for something. And I was like, I think that's me. So I called my doctor and she referred me to a psychiatrist who then spent a whole hour on the phone with me because this was during COVID when we couldn't really
Hmm.
see our doctors in person. And at the end, when I told her my whole life, I
Hmm.
told her all the things that were going on, all the toxic things. She was like, you have major depression, you don't have bipolar, but I want to put you on some medication. And I was like, well, out of all the things, can you at least give me some advice on what I should do? I really need some guidance. I kind of feel very
Hmm.
lost right now. And she was like, well, I think let's start with the medication first, and then we'll have you follow up with somebody on the team. I can't even remember who it
Hmm.
was. And I was like really taken aback. I'm like, out of all this whole time, all the things I've told her, she only wanted to give me pills out of
Hmm.
everything. And it's a psychiatrist. So this is the person that's dealing with your mood and your anxiety and depression and all those symptoms. And then she told me I had depression and didn't tell me about the foods. We didn't talk about foods. We didn't talk
Hmm.
about my exercise routines, which I had zero
Yeah.
at the time. We didn't talk
Hmm.
about me getting some fresh air, like none of the things that we kind of all know to
Hmm.
do. But you really do need guidance. You need reminders, right? Nothing like that happened. So I was very frustrated and I told her I wasn't going to start meds. I didn't want to take that route. And she basically was like, okay, well, that's all I have for you. So whenever you're ready to start medications, just make another appointment. And it blew my
Wow.
mind because I have really great insurance. This is like the hugest institution. I won't even say their name,
Yeah.
but the
Hmm.
hugest institution on the West Coast. And
Yeah.
so I was like, well, I'm a very capable person. I need to
Hmm.
figure this out on my own. And that's the year I got really deep into detoxing. And I did
Hmm.
a full detox. It was a 3-month detox where I ate fruits and herbs and other techniques. I incorporated other healing techniques for 3 months straight, and it changed my life. It changed the full trajectory of my life. I passed parasites. I'm talking about long worms. Like, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I had a
Yeah.
tapeworm at one point. I passed liver flukes. That's another type of parasite. I passed gallstones. Your girl
Oh
didn't
my
even know I had gallstones.
gosh.
I passed gallstones, and it was a very structured program. Excuse me.
Hmm.
And I remember the time when I passed the gallstones because it was a very comprehensive liver flush and gallbladder flush. And after I passed the gallstones, I felt this anger. I was like, out of all the hundreds and thousands of dollars that I have invested into my education, I love
Hmm.
school. I was a
Yeah.
straight A student. I was there for it. I'm like, give me some school. I love it. And I've gone to conferences and read journals. Out of all of those things, no one ever taught me, or I never read anything about you can pass gallstones at home. I think that was what triggered me because I was like, I've referred countless patients to surgery to get their gallbladders removed for gallstones. And here I am doing this at home. And I'm like, I realize we have to teach people to save their organs. They
Yeah.
just cut out a tonsil, they cut out the tonsils, they cut out the appendix, they cut out the gallbladder, and Lord knows they will cut out a uterus so quickly before
Yeah.
really trying to help somebody to keep their organs and to really manage why do I have a gallstone? Why are my tonsils inflamed all the time? Why do I have appendicitis? Why do I have fibroids and whatever is going on in the womb to make this issue
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
big that now we have to remove organs. So it really, like I said, it changed the trajectory of my life. And I was like, okay, I need to get trained in this so I can teach people how to do what I just did for
Hmm.
myself. And
Yeah.
yeah, it led me down this path. And here
Oh
I
my
am.
God, that's so
Yeah.
amazing, Kendra. I got my gallbladder taken out in 2020.
And and it's
Oh
okay
my
if those things
God.
have happened to you.
No, no,
It,
no. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's okay because we
it's
can still support,
crazy.
even though you don't have the
Hmm.
organ, you still have the energy of that organ there. So you can still support it. And I tell people that all the time when they've had certain organs removed, you still have the energy and the essence of that organ. So you can still support it even though it's not physically there.
No, that's crazy. I remember it was after during when I had Sebastian, I was having what I thought were Braxton Hicks, but it was I think it was my gallbladder. And then it
Mm.
was around 2020, and I had gotten a book, a big thick ass book. It was like flushing the gall stones and like the liver, but I don't know. I was at a point I couldn't even eat like cheese or anything. It would like trigger me. I was having like attacks, Kendra. And then I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I surrender.
Yes.
And
Because sometimes you're
then
like, I just can't do this
hmm.
anymore. And then not a lot of people are talking about what I just mentioned, right? I mean, I've
Oh,
spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my education to learn these types of things, and nobody's teaching this. Not really. I mean, the people who are teaching it are not in Western medicine, like
yes, yes.
in that arena. They are out there. You can find this information, which is now is a lot of this information is on social media, is on
Yep.
YouTube. That's how I found my practitioner, the first practitioner I worked with. I found her on Instagram. And so I think that I'm really happy that holistic health has gone mainstream because people have a lot more
Yes.
access to it. However, I would say that you do have to be careful because sometimes people don't have that training. That's why it was important for me to get
Yes.
additional training in this realm of medicine because integrative
Hmm.
medicine is actually a branch in Western medicine that they call
Hmm.
integrative, where you integrate different types of medicine and even like traditional Chinese medicine and functional
Mm,
medicine and
okay.
Ayurveda. These are very ancient techniques that have been
Yes.
studied for thousands and thousands of years, even before people were writing it down. A lot of the techniques
Okay.
have been passed down through stories and through sort of
Yes.
like this intuitive knowing. And that's why Western medicine kind of shuns it a little bit, or they might say it's woo woo, or they say that the practitioners are quacks sometimes
Mm. Yeah.
because they don't have a lot of this like studies. More studies are coming out now, but some of these techniques don't have clinical trials, even
Hmm.
though there are plenty of stories and plenty of testimonials and things like that. But that's one of the reasons that I guess Western medicine sort of removes itself from those types of techniques.
Okay. What drives you to continue like doing what you do?
I continue to do detoxes personally a few times a year. I usually do it every season. And my first long detox, the one I mentioned before, was in 2021. And so over the past, oh my gosh, going on 4 years now, I've been cleansing myself. And every time I cleanse, I still pass parasites to this day. And so I sometimes it frustrates me because I'm like, I live this life, I do this, I really do. I'm practicing this for myself on a regular basis on how to eat well, how to
Yes.
do other techniques like meditation and breath work, dry brushing my skin, other things like that. And I still see the parasites coming out. So that's what keeps me going because I'm like, okay, I can't be frustrated. I'm doing the right thing. It's just that for me and what's happened to me along the way, and maybe even before me, like when I was in my mom's womb, for example, I'm still healing from all that. And that's what keeps me going personally. And now that I started my business 2 years ago, it's called the healing phase. I've
Hmm.
led dozens and dozens of people on this journey and to see that it's also working for other people. And the stories that I hear, the testimonials that I hear, where people are
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, Kendra, you helped me, you changed my life. And they're telling me, they're like, I passed this long worm, I passed gallstones,
That's
And now
crazy.
to hear on the, yeah, like on the other side of it, when I hear the
Hmm.
stories of the people that I'm helping, that's what keeps me going because I'm like, this is work that we have to do. We can't be afraid. Like for me, I can't be afraid of what maybe my Western medicine colleagues
Yeah.
may say or may think, or that's my training. I wasn't taught this in school, but I know it now. And so now it's up to me to carry the torch and just inspire people to heal themselves because I'm a tool, I'm a resource. I can't do anything for anyone besides myself, right? I always tell people that I'm like, I can lead you to the water, but you have to drink it.
No,
And that's
yeah.
what keeps me going.
I love that.
Thank
What did
you.
little Kendra want to be? Her little were you always into science and like bios? Like were you always into that?
Always. Oh my gosh, Cynthia. I literally, when I was 10, when I was 10, I wrote a book. It was called My Life. And
Do you still
in the
have it?
book, I have it somewhere. I think it's at my mom's house. I need to rummage because it's such a good book. And in the book, I described my future life. Like I talked about my current life, but then I was like, when I grow up, I want to become a doctor and I want to get braces and I want to get contacts and I want to move to California. And
Not her
we're
being
from Michigan.
intuitive at 10.
So talk about
Girl,
manifestation and writing stuff down because I got my braces. Okay.
yes, beautiful teeth.
And thank you. I moved, or I got contacts. I used to have glasses at the time. I got my contacts and I moved to California. I've been in California now for going on 12 years.
Wow, Kendra.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, I'm like floored.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask. I do want to do like a part two because you're just like interesting if you're up for it. But like,
Yes, absolutely.
were you risen in a what household? Like, were you Catholic, spiritual? Like,
So, let me think about that because I had kind of a tumultuous, well, I had a very tumultuous childhood growing up. So I lived back and forth between my mom, my dad, and my
okay,
grandparents.
okay,
In general, all of those three households were, let me think. Okay, my grandma was Catholic. And so
okay,
I remember saying the Lord's Prayer every night before we went to bed. Now I lay me down to
girl.
sleep, right? Is that the one?
Yep, girl.
Okay,
Same
that's the
here.
one. So we always had to pray over our meals and we would pray before
Okay.
bed. That was like what I knew about the Catholic
No, yeah.
religion.
Hmm.
And my grandma, the same grandma, this is my mother's mother, she
Hmm.
had crystals everywhere. She had amethyst, she had
Okay.
tiger's eye. Now, at the time, I didn't know. She never
Hmm.
even talked to us about it. They were just everywhere in eyesight for our little eyes, me and my sisters, my two sisters, to see. And she also had turquoise everywhere. And those are the three stones I remember a lot.
Wow.
Um, and then she also would have us watching a lot of witch stuff. She was like obsessed with witch stuff. And so when I say witch stuff, I mean like I don't know if you've seen Angelica Houston in The Witches. It was the
Hmm.
movie, it came out in like the 80s or the 90s. And then we used to watch all of the Disney films and all of the cartoon stuff that had witches in
Okay.
it, like the Disney Halloween specials. She would record them and have us watch it. But
Wow.
anything that was to do with like magic, she was super into it. Yeah, she would, and she didn't ever talk to us about it. She would just have it on for us, or like put it on for us, record that, and then have us watch it. So I really do. Me and my sisters talk about it all the time, where we're like, Grandma is so interesting because we're still learning about her. She lived to be 96 years old. God rest her
Wow.
soul. She passed in 2017, but still is with us. She's still with
Hmm.
us for sure. And we're still learning a lot about her as we find her artifacts and her books. We're finding stuff about magic and like not necessarily just magic, but even like more spiritual based things.
Wow,
Yep.
Kendra. Oh my, why do I feel like crying? Let's
Oh,
keep it moving.
because I'm a big
Oh
grandma's
my
girl.
God.
Both my grandmas, both my dad's mom too. I would say my dad and my mom, they are definitely Christian. So
Yes.
I was raised more Christian. I would go to church every
I
most
love that.
Sundays. They sent us to
Hmm.
Sunday school. We had the bus to come and pick us up. And then when I was in high school, I got really into church because I love ceremonies and I sort of love being in community to pray and
Yeah.
stuff. And so I started going to church with my mom. I was the only one out of my sisters that would go to church with my mom every weekend. And I just loved it. I still love church. I'm not going to
No,
front.
yes, yes, yes.
I love
Hmm.
church. I don't identify as Christian.
Yeah.
I do love Christ consciousness and I love the story. I
Hmm.
love Jesus. I
Hmm.
just don't know in my heart if that story is exactly the way that they've said it. I'm not
Hmm.
sure because now that I've done research, that
Hmm.
story has been told in like
Many times.
way before that time when you look at
Translated and yes.
yeah, you hear about some of the ancient people in Kemet, which is now
Yeah.
current day Egypt, and that story had been told way before Jesus. So I do appreciate all the
Yes.
lessons in the Bible and the
Hmm.
Christ consciousness. And I'm opening my mind more to the universe creator creatress because I feel like with religion, it
Hmm.
takes the feminine energy out of the religion. It's all about
Yeah.
praying to Father, the Son, and the
Hmm.
Holy Spirit, and it doesn't recognize the mother, which the mother is so important. And I think
Yes.
that just the feminine aspect of nature and the feminine aspect of the universe, we should honor that too.
I agree 100%. I still find it like, wow, that you literally manifested, like you saw your future, Kendra. Like, were you just like speaking, or like did you see it, or was it just like Kendra was la di da di da writing in the book?
Mm. I'm trying to think. I'm not
You're like, that was
sure. I
so
don't
long
know.
ago, Cindy.
I was just, I was a very, and I am still, I was a very intuitive person. I still am now.
No, yes,
And I have a lot of spiritual gifts, I would say. And I think as a child, you just kind of express yourself, whatever's on your mind in that way. And I used to write a lot. So I wrote down a lot of the things that I wanted to happen for me. This was back in the 90s. So I'm like writing
no,
what
yeah,
I wanted and I think it was also because my childhood was so unstable. It felt so
yeah,
unstable. I was like, I know I was so mature because I remember thinking, like, I know I'm not going to raise my children like this. I know I want to make a better life for myself
wow,
than my parents have made for me and my sisters. That's why I strive so hard in school because I was like, I feel like school is going to be the way out for
yep,
me.
hmm,
So I was straight A student. I was always at school. I got perfect attendance in school. In high school, not so much, but before then,
but
before
anyway,
then, and I still had a lot of fun as a teenager. I was very loved, even though I said that, and I had a very rough
yes,
childhood. I
mhm,
had a lot of love. Like my family really loved on me and
yeah,
my sisters, but I think I knew I was like, I'm coming out of this situation. I'm gonna make a lot of money so that we don't have to struggle because we were, on food stamps and
yeah,
poverty in Detroit growing
mhm.
up in the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s. And so I was like, I'm gonna have a better life. But I had the vision of it's a better life for me, my parents, and my sisters and my children. I just knew that as a kid. I was gonna make a better way for all of us.
You're so inspirational, Kendra.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, what is the most challenging thing about what you do in your work?
Okay. I think the most challenging thing
Hmm.
that I do in my work is so my work in terms of practicing medicine, it gets easier with time. Just like anything, they
Hmm.
call it practicing for a reason because you just practice over and over and over. Um, I would say in my line of work, sort of convincing people that they have to make a overhaul of their life,
Hmm.
that's challenging because when I'm in the clinic, so I have two sort of lives, right? So like when I'm
Yes.
in the clinic, people did not really come in there for that. Many people, especially because I work in urgent care, so they usually have like a immediate thing. And so I don't talk to every patient about holistic health. I don't talk to every patient about natural healing because I have to preserve my energy and my
Yeah.
time and my space. And like if I if I'm very intuitive when I practice medicine too, I'm like if I think that a patient is not really going to receive it, then I'll
Hmm.
just, go through the motions like a normal visit.
Hmm.
However, a lot more people are being open-minded, especially since the pandemic. A lot of people are more open to the natural techniques. So that I would say is less of a challenge nowadays, where I'm like, hey, okay, instead of doing antibiotics, here's a list of herbs you can take. You can try it out. This is some foods you should eat, which is usually fruit. I'm like, stop eating everything else, even vegetables. They're really good, but for now, focus on the fruit. And so I find that although people are open-minded more, that can be a challenge because people are like, sometimes people argue with me. They're like, I want the antibiotics. Like, I came in here for that. So can I just
Hmm.
get that? And then I have to convince them that they don't need it. And in fact, in the long run, it's going to be worse for you than if you didn't take anything at all. So I think some people are just wired to want to take a pill and be done with it, not
Hmm.
realizing that even though you may not even feel side effects, that pill does have some ramifications in your body. Like ruining your gut microbiome, which is the bacteria that lives in your gut, the good bacteria. The antibiotics kill everything. There's no discrimination
Mm.
between if it's a good bacteria or a bad bacteria. So I spend some time with people trying to educate them on antibiotic safety. That's a challenge. Now, in the holistic health realm, the challenge I would say is being an entrepreneur, as you know, is
Yeah.
kind of a challenge because
Hmm.
there's no blueprint really. You kind of have to do what feels right in your business. And so
Hmm.
overall, that has been a challenge of me navigating this new space of I know what I'm talking about and how can I attract in the clients that want to heal with me, that are ready to do the work.
Okay. What advice do you have for anyone wanting to get into holistic healing?
I would say the best thing is to start with yourself. So it's really up to you to kind of experiment with what you want for your own body because usually people
Hmm.
are drawn into this realm of practicing medicine, this realm of healing, because either they have something that they're dealing with or a loved
Yeah.
one has something that they're dealing with. That's usually how people end up in this space.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I would say start with yourself, start with those things that you think your mom needs or your dad needs. Because that was me. I was like, Mom, you need to
Yeah.
da 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 da. And I used to like
Hmm.
be really frustrated with my mom, like, you gotta change your life. And then here I was struggling myself. So then
Yeah.
once I stopped telling people what they needed to do with themselves, and I just really started embodying uh,
Hmm.
this holistic health journey, that's when I noticed I was really inspiring other people to do the same. Like once you change
Hmm.
your life, you naturally will have a ripple effect in your community and your family because then people see you leading by example. So that's the
Yeah.
best place to start. And then I would say that after that, once you start healing your own self and getting on your own journey, then you can probably, yeah, I would say just pick up some books by
Hmm.
naturopathic doctors. So they usually have ND at the end of their name instead of MD. So medical doctor versus naturopathic doctor.
Oh, thank you for
Um,
that.
yeah. The other thing you may see is DO, which is a doctor of osteopathic medicine. So I would say DOs and NDs and even MDs, if they're talking about holistic health,
Hmm.
natural healing, I would start there. Those are really great places.
what advice do you have for someone that wants to like work with you? Or like, do you have anything to say? Like someone's watching and they're like, like what do you have to say, Kendra?
Yes, I love working with people. That's why I do what I do, is that I really want to reach people who are ready to go on this natural health journey. That's where my life is leading me down.
Mhm.
I actually don't work in the clinic anymore. I took a leap this year in 2024 and I'm all in on my business. So there are a few ways to work with me.
Hmm.
The first is I do offer one-on-one sessions where I work with
Yes.
people and develop this personalized plan. We work together for 3 months and I help people reach their goals one-on-one. The second is I have a few group offerings where I will help people in a group setting. I like that better. That's how I like to operate because you don't just have to rely on one person, like the leader, you
Yeah.
actually get the support of the group as well. So I lead group detoxes. I have a signature program called the FAM Detox, which is
Hmm.
fruit as medicine detox. I love it so much. Oh my goodness, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
Hmm.
I also have a 7-day cleanse where we focus on gut health. And then I
Hmm.
have a new program, which is so exciting. I am developing alongside one of my personal healers. Her name is
Hmm.
Jaguar Woman. She's
Hmm.
incredible. And this new program is focused all on women's health. So we are really focusing on helping people who have long periods, heavy periods, fibroids,
Hmm.
PCOS, and infertility. And we're helping them to
Okay.
really flush their wombs, reclaim their cycle, and really reclaim their period. And so it's not such a challenging time of the month. It's the time
Hmm.
to really rejoice in being a woman.
Okay. And you have a webinar for that, right?
I do. Thank you. Yes, I do. So I have a webinar coming up this week. It's on Thursday, December 12th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's called Reclaim Your Cycle, 5 Natural Solutions for Pain, Fibroids, and Fertility.
That's so exciting. I'm so excited. Question, girl, because I don't fall into that, but a little TMI, I don't fucking care. But like my periods are irregular, Kendra, and they're not heavy. It's like it's just not heavy. Is that something for me? You
Yes,
know?
absolutely.
Does that
Yes. So
make sense?
we are targeting people who have irregular periods, heavy periods, painful periods, long periods, and
Okay.
people who have hormonal imbalances. So that's where the
That
PCOS
that's
comes.
probably me right there.
Yeah,
Hormonal imbalances.
and the thing is like most of the time you won't know you have a hormonal imbalance I mean, you might know intuitively, especially you.
Yeah.
But I would say for a lot of people, they may not know it, but hormonal imbalances, they usually show up as irregular periods, meaning you might go 30 days and then the next month you go 40 days and then you might skip a
Hmm.
period and then
Yeah.
maybe the next like 20 days or 2 periods in a month. It's just not on a regular cadence. And the other ways it shows up is male pattern hair growth. So some people who have hair that comes
I've
here over
seen
their lip,
that.
or they have
Hmm.
hair on their chin or on their neck or chest.
Hmm.
Um, and then another one is if they have, so we talked about irregular periods,
Yes.
hair, and if they have sometimes pain, usually pain is not necessarily a general cause for PCOS. They might know if they've had an ultrasound. So if you've had an ultrasound and you see they saw cysts on the ovaries, that's literally what polycystic ovarian syndrome
Okay.
is. So
Yeah.
sometimes people find out when they're pregnant and then they go get this ultrasound for being pregnant and then they see
Yeah.
cysts on the ovaries. But it's usually
Hmm.
those two things where it's irregular period and then the abnormal, not abnormal, but just the male pattern hair growth. Oh, and the other one, acne. If people have acne, that can be a
Okay.
sign.
All right. So to anyone, I feel like any woman, um, join her webinar. I'm gonna be there. I love your webinars. Kendra, you were so just like You're so chill. I love the vibe. And I feel like even just like for anyone that wants to work with her, like, you know, it's like when we talk, it's like I feel like I've known you before and like you have that very like, I don't
Yes,
know
I
if
feel
you
the
get that a lot.
same. Thank you. I feel the same way. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy that you support me and that you
Yes,
have joined
girl.
my webinar. I also just want to say that my
Yeah.
partner, Jaguar Woman, she is incredible. She
Hmm.
is my healer. I had fibroids as well that were incidentally found on an ultrasound when I was pregnant. So I didn't have any symptoms at all, but they found
Wow.
two fibroids when I was pregnant. And so through this work of mine that I've done on myself, I completely shrank down one of my fibroids, and I also it's completely gone, and the other one has shrank down to where it's almost gone. So I'm like, wow, this stuff really works. And my healer, she is a womb wellness expert where we do womb steaming once a month.
Yes. So important. Yeah.
So people have heard of it as yoni steaming. In my
Hmm.
mind, and what I've learned from Jag is that there's no yoni steaming, it's womb steaming. So like we really
Hmm.
are bringing that into our work as well, to womb steam
Hmm.
together, where we will send you the herbs, we'll send you everything that you need. She's partnered with the farm to actually send people herbs, and then she teaches you how to actually steam at home. You don't need to go to any
Yeah.
fancy spa to do it. You
Yeah.
get a bowl and you have your herbs, and then we steam in community, and we're really releasing down from the gut health, all the things that we're releasing with these cleanses, and then releasing down all of that toxicity through our wombs.
That's amazing. I've been in a webinar with her and love her vibe, and I've seen her stuff, and I'm like, Cynthia's going to be part of that soon.
Yes.
The last question that I have for you, Kendra, and I feel like you've answered it already, but let's just like, what is your absolute favorite thing about what you do?
Oh my gosh. My favorite thing about what I do is it's so many things. If I had to pick one thing, it would be connection. As you mentioned, I am a Gemini. I'm a social butterfly. I love
Yep.
to I love to
Yes.
like talk to everyone. I love making friends. I love making even associates that are not necessarily my close friends. I love being in community.
Yeah.
That is one of my strengths, I think, is that I have in my personal life, I have so many communities that I'm a part of. And now for me, I'm creating my own community, which is so beautiful to me. So I would say that's probably my favorite thing of like, hey, if you are interested in healing your body naturally and you want somebody that is also very well versed, I'm an expert in Western medicine, like I can help along the way. And we can just talk about all things holistic health. I love bringing people together to where we can all heal in community.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that is it for this episode. Y'all, please join Kendra for her webinar December 12th. This will be going out Monday. Don't know the day, but tomorrow. But yes, go on and join. It's a free webinar and then you'll get the vibe. I love how detailed and just like how you break things down, because obviously, like, a lot of people just like don't know, but you just break things down. And I love that about you, Kendra. I really do.
Thank you.
Um,
I
I'm
told you I
pulling
love to
cards.
teach.
Yeah,
I love
no,
to
you
teach.
do. You do. Okay, I'm gonna do this quickly. Okay. I have two messages for you. I'm gonna give you the one for right now. And then after we finish, I will quickly give you the other message that I'm getting for
Okay,
you. I'll have to
beautiful.
end the Zoom. All right. I'm trying to stick to business, but Spirit's taking me somewhere else.
That's okay. I'll go with spirit. I do not fight. I'm just like, let's go with the flow.
Okay. Okay, so it's just basically I feel like, I'm sticking on business. It's just like, that support. And I've read for you before, and you know that you're here to do big things. And I feel like you're getting closer to the big things. And just bringing, I'm sure you already know, but just reiterating, you're bringing a lot of peace in people's lives just with, the work that you do. We have the peace card. I'm like trying to show
Yes,
you.
yes.
um, I don't necessarily know, take what resonates. But we have the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles represents like someone that's working extremely hard towards something. I do feel some frustration, but we have Temperance. Temperance is all about just waiting, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
having that patience. Having that patience, and it's like your hard work will pay off. I do see 2025 being like huge and amazing for you. And that's all I'm going to say for this. I do have more to say after, but
Wonderful. I love
anyways.
that. I love that. Support, peace, Eight of Pentacles, and Temperance. I love that.
Yes, girl. But again, Kendra, thank you for being on my podcast. And I'll link everything below, the information for the webinar, and then you can like follow her and stuff like that. But, anyways, thank you. And to anyone watching this, adios.
Thank you.